Hello, Frank Shines and Umer here with Analytics AI ML. Today we're going to talk about Lean Six Sigma as part of an overall production system. In order to get Lean Six Sigma implemented in any organization, you have to think about organizational change. So organizational change goes hand in hand with creating a Lean Six Sigma system. We had an organization, a company that came to us, a small manufacturer, well, a small engine manufacturer, large company, a global company with offices all around the world, manufacturing plants around the world. And what they wanted to do was implement SPC, which is known as Statistical Process Control, one of the tools using Lean Six Sigma. And you'll see that in red at the bottom there, the red circle, SPC or Statistical Process Control. Well, in order for statistical process control to be sustainable, you can go in and train one or two people or a few people or dozens of people on SPC. But if they don't know how to use the tools and if there's not an infrastructure in place to sustain SPC, it often falls flat or fizzles out. So the first thing that we do is at the very top, we create this overall understanding. What are my key inputs and outputs in visual kind of fashion? What's my vision and what's my mission that's going to be used by my Lean Six Sigma quality production system to drive high quality, high productivity, a well-run organization. So first of all, we think about what is the vision. In this particular case, they want to enable machines that make life better. And their mission statement is below. So there's a clarity of everyone that comes through the training. They understand here's our vision, here's our mission. Well, how do we get there? Well, we get there by turning inputs into outputs. The outputs are, in this particular case, the carburetors, the small engines, the fuel tanks, those sorts of things. Those are the outputs that we're trying to provide to a customer. But in order to achieve that result, we have to know something about the customer, the voice of the customer. We need to understand something about stakeholders and other stakeholders and suppliers that are part of our system. So those are the inputs on the left-hand side. We take those inputs, those understandings of the market, the stakeholders, suppliers, we use the raw material and things to bring it into our system. We use our great people and great organization as part of our Lean Six Sigma quality production system to convert all of those requirements and needs of the marketplace into these high quality products. That's the very top side. In order to achieve that, we are going to encounter organizational resistance. It's just human nature. It's part of all organizations. It's part of all people. So on the far right, we have change drivers. And change drivers are things that we found over time, only about a half dozen of those that can predict very well um, the risk factors that are to be necessary to be overcome to drive change. So one is external focus. Organizations that don't have good external focus get internally focused and then they miss market opportunities and they can't change. A case for change. Once we have an external focus, we put in place a case for change. Why are we doing this? Explain it to people in economic terms, in emotional terms, in operational terms, in financial terms. Use all those different ways of telling the story to drive the case for change. Next, you have to put in place the incentives for people to actually make the change. Then we have to remove any current barriers that are in the way. If there are certain people who are resisting, and there's particularly at top management and other parts of the organization, you're going to have to make a tough decision about whether or not you're going to keep those people on board or invite them to go to another organization. Anxiety of change. You need to overcome the fear and anxiety that always accompanies change. And finally, a lot of part of that is the resistance associated with friction because of the anxiety. Uh, with those things, we can predict our probability of success. Okay. Now, from there, we got the change, we got our quality system. To support the actual quality production system, you need all these tools. So you've got the lean tools and methods. In this particular case, their primary focus was SPC, so we put that at the top. But other things, we got to do value stream mapping. We need to think about 5S, sort, straighten, standardize, shine, sustain. Visual management, which are ways of looking at all the visual tools in real time out on the production floor or in your call center or anywhere in your operation. Daily management, leader standard work goes along with that. Rapid problem solving tools and Kaizen events and innovative methods are also part of all the lean tools and methods that are needed. Then we want to drive tiered accountability. By using the visual boards, we have visual boards that are at the very highest level that go to the CEO and executives. Those are what's known as the tier 4 boards. And then cascading down through the organization are tier 3, tier 2, tier 1 level boards. And those include the key performance indicators so that there's complete alignment, so that a person knows that if they're doing something with regards to their production goals every day. And that's directly impacting labor costs, part per million, operational efficiency, which in turn impacts our overall cycle time and ultimately on-time delivery and customer satisfaction and profitability and revenue on the very top. Right? Finally, when we look at organizations, we want to put in place an enterprise-wide quality management system. In many cases, there are regulatory requirements. In other cases, there are ISO requirements to drive the change so that as you're making improvements and changes to your process, you have good standard work, standard operating procedures that are being updated. If there's a non-conformance or what's known as a CAPA, a corrective and preventive action, it's well documented, and the necessary things in terms of changing the process, updating the training material, and ensuring that people get certified in the new process. All of that stuff is fully integrated within the system. So an enterprise-wide quality management system is also a very important part of your overall Lean Six Sigma production system combined with organizational change. Again, this has been Frank Shines and Umar Qureshi with Analytics AI ML. Thank you.